Chosen soul, stop what you are doing and listen to me very carefully, because what I am about to tell you is going to completely shift how you see everything that has been happening in your life. I mean it. Put your phone in Do Not Disturb. Close the other tabs. Turn off the noise. Because this message did not randomly show up in your feed. You did not accidentally click on this. Something in the unseen realm orchestrated this moment, because you need to hear what I am about to say. Not tomorrow, not later today, right now. You have been looking at your situation like something went wrong, like the script got flipped, like you were supposed to be somewhere else by now, doing something else, living a completely different reality than the one you are currently standing in. You have been carrying this low-level frustration, this constant background static in your spirit that whispers you are off track, that you missed your moment, that the timing fell apart, and now you are playing catch-up, scrambling to get back to where you were supposed to be months ago, maybe years ago. Like you are running late to your own destiny, and no matter how fast you move, you cannot close the gap. But what if I told you that nothing fell apart? What if the timing is not broken? What if you are not behind at all? What if everything that looked like it was breaking down was actually breaking open? What if the delay you have been calling a setback, the one you have been apologizing to God for, begging Him to fix, was never a setback at all? What if it was a setup? What if God has been running a strategy this entire time that is so far above what you could see that you have been misinterpreting protection as rejection and redirection as failure? I know you have been feeling it, that specific kind of frustration that is hard to explain to people who are not in it. The kind that comes from watching opportunities pass by while you are stuck in a season that makes absolutely no sense. You have been watching people who started after you finished before you. You have been seeing doors swing wide open for others while yours stay bolted shut. You have been praying, believing, fasting, standing in faith, doing everything you know to do, checking every box, following every instruction. And somehow, some way, you are still here, still in this holding pattern, still waiting for movement, still in the same place you were 6 months ago, a year ago, maybe longer. And the enemy has been in your ear every single day, whispering the same accusation on repeat. You missed it. You took too long. You hesitated when you should have moved. You moved when you should have waited. You said yes to the wrong thing. You said no to the right thing. You ruined it. You are too late. The window closed. The opportunity expired. And now you are going to spend the rest of your life watching other people live the story that was supposed to be yours. But that voice is a liar. And in the next several minutes, I am going to show you exactly why that voice is lying. I am going to show you what has actually been happening while you thought you were stuck. I am going to show you the strategy that has been running behind the scenes that you could not see because you were looking at the wrong board. And then I am going to give you the key that unlocks everything that has been held in this holding pattern. But I need you locked in. I need you fully present, because if you drift away before we get to the end, you will miss the one piece of information that shifts everything. If you are feeling that pull right now, that sense that you are supposed to be reading this, drop a quick comment. Just let me know you are here. It creates an energetic marker in the spirit that tells heaven you are ready to receive what is about to be unlocked. Here is what I need you to understand about where you are right now. You are not behind schedule. You are not late. You are not stuck in some cosmic waiting room because the universe forgot about you. You are being strategically positioned, and there is a massive difference between being delayed and being positioned. When you are delayed, something is blocking forward movement. When you are positioned, something is placing you in exactly the right spot for what is about to happen next. You think you are sitting on the sidelines. You are actually standing on the launch pad. And the reason it feels uncomfortable, the reason it feels like nothing is happening, is because launch pads are not designed for comfort. They are designed for thrust. Let me take you to a story that is going to make this click. Joseph in Genesis, 17 years old, favored by his father Jacob, given a coat of many colors that marked him as different, as chosen, as set apart from his brothers. And then he started having dreams, not random dreams, prophetic dreams, dreams where the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to him. Dreams where his brothers' sheaves of grain were bowing to his sheaf. He saw his future. He saw himself in a position of authority with his family bowing in honor, and he told those dreams out loud. Big mistake, or was it? His brothers already hated him because of the favor. The dreams pushed them over the edge. They plotted to kill him. They threw him in a pit and left him to die. Then they changed their minds, pulled him out, and sold him to traders heading to Egypt, 20 pieces of silver. That is what his brothers decided he was worth. They took his coat, dipped it in goat blood, and brought it back to their father. Joseph is dead, torn apart by wild animals, and Jacob mourned for years, believing his favorite son was gone. Meanwhile, Joseph, now a slave in a foreign country where he does not speak the language, where he has no rights, no family, no resources, ended up in the house of Potiphar, captain of Pharaoh's guard, and somehow, even as a slave, Joseph started rising. The Bible says the Lord was with Joseph, and everything he touched prospered. Potiphar noticed, promoted him, put him in charge of his entire household. For a minute, it looked like things were turning around, like maybe the worst was over, like maybe this was the beginning of the dream manifesting. Then Potiphar's wife decided she wanted Joseph, tried to seduce him day after day, rejected him when he refused. And when he ran from her, she grabbed his garment and then lied to her husband, said Joseph tried to assault her. Potiphar believed his wife over his servant, and Joseph, who did the right thing, who honored God, who resisted temptation, got thrown in prison. Another pit, deeper than the first, darker, more hopeless. Because the first pit was his brother's fault. This one felt like God's fault. I did the right thing, and this is what I get. Now, if you were Joseph, sitting in that prison cell, you would think the dream died in the pit. You would think God lied. You would think you misheard the voice. You would think those prophetic dreams were just fantasies from a naive teenager who did not understand how the real world works. You would look at your circumstances and say clearly, I am not chosen. Clearly, I am not anointed. Clearly, I am not going anywhere, because if I was really called to rule, I would not be rotting in a prison cell for a crime I did not commit. But here is what Joseph did not know while he was sitting in that cell year after year. Every single step that looked like a devastating setback was actually a strategic setup. The pit was not punishment for telling his dreams. It was placement. It got him out of Canaan, where he would have stayed a shepherd boy, and into Egypt, where the real throne was waiting. Selling him as a slave was not his brothers, destroying his destiny. It was God, using their jealousy to relocate him to the nation where his destiny would unfold. Landing in Potiphar's house was not random. It was strategic. It gave him access to Egyptian culture, Egyptian language, Egyptian government systems. It trained him in management, in administration, in how power operates in Egypt. He was getting an education he could never have received in his father's tents. The false accusation was not injustice. It was strategy. It got him into the one prison where he would meet the cupbearer and the baker, Pharaoh's officials who would later be the connection he needed. If he had stayed in Potiphar's house, he would have plateaued. He would have risen to head servant, but never beyond. The prison broke that ceiling, and the delay, those years of waiting in prison after interpreting the cupbearer's dream, asking to be remembered and then being forgotten, that was not God abandoning him. That was God protecting him. Because if Joseph had been pulled out too early, he would have been promoted in the wrong season. He needed to be exactly the right age, with exactly the right experience, at exactly the right moment, when Pharaoh had the dream that nobody else could interpret. Everything had to line up. The famine had to be coming. Egypt had to need someone with Joseph's gifting at that precise moment. 1 year earlier, the timing would have been wrong. 1 year later, someone else would have been in position. But God held Joseph in the prison until the pieces on the board were exactly where they needed to be. And here is what you need to hear. You are in the pit right now, or maybe you are in the prison. Maybe you are in Potiphar's house, watching everything you built get stripped away because of a lie someone told. But none of those places are your destination. They are your positioning. You have been looking at them like they are evidence that you are off course, that you took a wrong turn somewhere, that if you had just made better choices, you would not be here. But what if they are evidence that you are exactly on course? What if every place that felt like a demotion was actually preparation for a promotion you cannot even imagine yet? What if the closed doors you have been mourning, the ones you have been asking God to reopen, the ones you have been beating yourself up over, were actually His protection keeping you out of rooms that would have limited you? What if those opportunities that fell through at the last second, the ones that felt like devastating losses, were not lost chances, but divine intervention saving you from paths that would have led you somewhere smaller than where you are actually going? What if the relationships that ended, the jobs that did not work out, the plans that collapsed were not failures but course corrections? You have been measuring your progress with the wrong ruler. You have been using a human timeline when God is operating on an eternal one. You have been counting in days and months and years. He has been counting in seasons and cycles and the fullness of time. You have been looking at the visible. He has been orchestrating the invisible. You have been focused on the immediate. He has been building toward the ultimate. And because you are using different measurement systems, what looks like backwards to you looks like forward to Him. What looks like loss to you looks like gain to Him. What looks like delay to you looks like precision timing to Him. Think about it like this. If you are building a skyscraper, you do not start with the penthouse. You start underground. You dig. You excavate. You go down before you can go up, and the taller the building, the deeper the foundation has to go. If someone walked by the construction site during the excavation phase, they would see a giant hole in the ground. They would see dirt being moved. They would see what looks like destruction. They would have no idea that a 100-story building is about to rise from that exact spot. The hole is not the problem. The hole is the plan. You have been looking at your current season like it is the hole, like it is evidence that nothing is being built. But what if you are in the excavation phase? What if God is going deep right now because what He is about to build in your life requires a foundation that can hold weight you have never carried before? You wanted the penthouse view. He is giving you the structural integrity. You wanted the height. He is giving you the depth, because height without depth is a disaster waiting to happen. And God loves you too much to promote you into something you are not ready to sustain. And here is what you need to hear. You are in the pit right now, or maybe you are in the prison, but neither one of those places is your destination. They are your positioning. You have been looking at them like they are evidence that you are off course. But what if they are evidence that you are exactly on course? What if the closed doors you have been mourning were actually God's protection keeping you out of the wrong rooms? What if the opportunities that fell through were not lost chances but divine redirection keeping you from settling for less than what is actually coming? If that just hit something deep, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. Not because I am asking for engagement, but because that physical act of clicking is a spiritual agreement. You are telling the unseen realm, yes, I receive this. I align with this. I agree that what looked like setback was actually set up. That small action carries more weight than you know. Think about it. What if you had gotten that job you prayed for 3 years ago? You would not be available for the one that is about to open. What if that relationship had worked out? You would not be in position for the right person who is about to walk into your life. What if that business launched when you wanted it to? It would have launched in the wrong market at the wrong time, and you would have spent years trying to force something that was not meant to survive. The delay saved you. The closed door protected you. The breakdown was actually a breakthrough in disguise. You just could not see it because you were measuring success with the wrong ruler. Here is what the enemy has been doing while you have been sitting in this in-between space. He has been trying to convince you that the waiting means you did something wrong, that the delay is punishment, that the closed doors are proof you are not good enough, not ready enough, not anointed enough. He has been playing one specific lie on repeat in your mind. If you were really chosen, if you were really called, if you really heard from God, you would not still be here. You would already be there. And every day you stay in this season, that lie gets a little louder, a little more convincing, a little harder to ignore. But I need you to hear what Romans 8:28 actually says. All things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. All things, not some things, not the good things, all things. The pit worked for Joseph's good. The prison worked for his good. The false accusation worked for his good. Not because they felt good, they did not, but because they positioned him, they matured him. They prepared him for a throne he could not have handled at 17. And every single thing that has not made sense in your story has been working the same way, positioning you, maturing you, preparing you for something you could not have carried in the previous season. Now let me show you where most people lose the plot. And if you get this, everything changes. You have been waiting for your circumstances to change before you change your posture. You have been saying, when I get the breakthrough, then I will start operating like someone who has breakthrough. When the door opens, then I will walk like someone whose door is open. When the promotion comes, then I will carry myself like someone who is promoted. But that is backwards. Your posture does not come after the manifestation. Your posture is what pulls the manifestation into the physical realm. You do not wait until you see it to believe it. You believe it so deeply that your believing creates the gravitational pull that makes it visible. This is not positive thinking. This is not manifestation culture. This is spiritual law. Hebrews 11:1 says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Substance. Evidence, those are tangible words. Faith is not wishful thinking. Faith is the material reality of what has not yet become visible. which means when you hold the correct posture, when you operate from the reality of what God already decreed, instead of the appearance of what your eyes currently see, you are literally creating substance in the unseen realm. You are generating evidence that has not manifested yet. And that substance, that evidence, is what pulls the physical into alignment with the spiritual. Joseph did not wait until he got out of prison to start operating like a ruler. He ruled in the prison. He took authority in the pit. He managed Potiphar's house like it was his own kingdom. His posture in the wrong place is what positioned him for the right place. And your posture right now, in this season, that feels like the wrong place, is what is positioning you for everything that is about to open. The question is not when will things change. The question is, are you holding the posture of someone who knows things have already changed in the realm that matters most? Before I show you what is about to shift, I need you to leave a comment. Tell me what is resonating. Tell me what is breaking off in the spirit while you are reading this. Because your acknowledgement is not just interaction, it is declaration. It is you agreeing out loud with what heaven already spoke, and that agreement accelerates manifestation. Here is the strategy you could not see while you were sitting in the waiting. God has not been working on your circumstances. He has been working on you. The delay was not about timing. It was about transformation. Because what is coming your way is bigger than what you asked for. It requires a version of you that did not exist when you first prayed the prayer. Think about what you were asking for 3 years ago, 5 years ago. You wanted it so badly. But if you had gotten it back then, it would have destroyed you. Not because God is cruel, but because you were not ready. The thing you were asking for required a capacity you had not developed yet, a strength you had not built, a maturity you had not grown into. And instead of just giving you what you asked for and watching you collapse under the weight of it, God gave you the pit, the prison, the delay, not as punishment, but as preparation. You have been looking at this season like it is wasted time. But nothing has been wasted. Every closed door taught you discernment. Every betrayal taught you wisdom. Every delay taught you patience. Every breakdown taught you resilience. Every moment you thought you were losing, you were actually gaining the very thing you need to sustain what is about to be given. You were not stuck. You were being forged, and forging requires heat, requires pressure, requires time in the fire. You do not get mad at the blacksmith for leaving the metal in the flame. You understand he is making it into something that can hold an edge, something that can cut through resistance, something that can withstand impact. That is what has been happening to you. Now here is where it gets real. The same delay that has been preparing you has also been preparing what is coming to you. While you have been in the prison, God has been moving pieces on a board you cannot see, connecting people you have not met yet, opening doors you do not know exist, shifting circumstances in your favor that you have no awareness of, creating opportunities that are tailored specifically to the version of you that is about to walk out of this season. You think you are waiting on God. God has been waiting on you, waiting for you to become who you need to be to handle what He has been building. And here is how you know it is about to break. The attacks got worse, the spiritual warfare intensified, the opposition increased. Think about the last few weeks, the last few months. Have things gotten easier or harder? Has the pressure decreased or increased? Have the attacks on your peace, your mind, your relationships, your finances gotten lighter or heavier? If you are honest, they got heavier. And you have been interpreting that as evidence that you are doing something wrong, that God is displeased, that you are moving in the wrong direction. But what if the opposite is true? What if the increase in warfare is actually confirmation that you are moving in the right direction? The enemy does not waste ammunition on people who are not a threat. He does not expend energy attacking people who are going nowhere. He does not bother with people who are off course. He only fights this hard when someone is about to cross a threshold he cannot afford to let them cross. When someone is about to step into authority that will dismantle his plans. When someone is about to unlock something in the spirit realm that shifts things in the natural realm. If he is fighting you this hard, throwing everything he has at you, attacking you from multiple angles at once, keeping you exhausted and confused and overwhelmed, it is because he sees what is coming and he is terrified. He is not trying to stop you from getting back to where you were. He is trying to stop you from getting to where you are going. And the fact that the fight intensified right when you thought you should be experiencing breakthrough is not evidence that breakthrough is not coming. It is evidence that breakthrough is closer than you think. The hardest fight always comes right before the greatest victory. The darkest moment always comes right before dawn. Joseph spent 13 years between the dream and the fulfillment. 13 years of pits and prisons and false accusations and being forgotten. But when his moment came, it did not come slowly. It came in a single day. One morning he woke up in prison. By that afternoon, he was standing in front of Pharaoh. By that evening, he was second in command of the most powerful nation on earth. One day, after 13 years, because breakthrough does not trickle in, it floods in, and you have been in the 13 years, building, preparing, being positioned, and the one day is coming, not someday, soon, sooner than you think, faster than you are ready for. This is the shift. Stop looking at where you are like it is evidence of where you will stay. Start looking at where you are like it is the final stage before launch. The caterpillar does not know it is becoming a butterfly when it is wrapped in the cocoon. It just knows everything feels tight and dark and confusing. It has no idea that the breakdown of its old form is the necessary process for the build-up of its new form. You have been in the cocoon, feeling the tightness, feeling the darkness, wondering when it is going to end, but it is ending. Not because time ran out, because the process completed. And what is about to emerge is not a slightly improved version of who you were. It is a completely transformed version of who you are becoming. Here is what you need to do right now. Place your hand over your heart and speak this out loud. Not in your head, out loud. Let your ears hear your voice declaring this truth. Because declarations are not wishes. They are commands. They are legal documents in the spiritual realm that shift things in the natural realm. Speak this. I am not behind. I am being positioned. What I called delay was actually divine strategy. What I called setback was actually set up. Every closed door was protection. Every no was redirection. Every breakdown was breakthrough in progress. I released the lie that I missed my moment. I received the truth that my moment is now. The pit was not my punishment. It was my pathway. The prison was not my prison. It was my preparation. And I am walking out, not someday today. In the spirit realm, it is already done. I am already there. I am already walking in it, and the physical is catching up right now. What God decreed over my life cannot be delayed by circumstances, cannot be blocked by opposition, cannot be stopped by the enemy. It is mine. It is here, and I receive it now. If something broke open while you were speaking that, if you felt something shift or crack or finally release, do not let that moment pass without marking it. Share this message with someone else who has been sitting in their own pit, thinking they missed their moment. and leave a comment telling me what just broke in the spirit. Not for the metrics, but as a stake in the ground, as a marker that says this is the moment everything changed. Your declaration seals what just happened. Your public agreement locks the door on what just fell off. You are not behind, you never were. The story is not over, it is just getting to the good part. And what is about to happen is going to make every single day in the pit make sense. You are about to see why you had to go through what you went through, why it had to take as long as it took, why the door had to stay closed until now. And when you see it, when you step into it, you are going to look back and say, I would not change a thing, because every piece of the process was necessary for the fullness of the promise. Your time is now, and nothing can stop what is already in motion.